Coach Helen for YouFit Studio. Hey, Zenna! So, now I'm talking about food preparation because it's occurring all over the shop. Hey, Pooh Chipsell. Now, why I brought it up is because there seems to be, or has been, a change of skill set, I would say, over this year in terms of food preparation, where, hey Rita, whereby we have these skills. It appears, hey Joe Lindley, oh, everyone's here. It appears to be that we had some skills at the beginning of the year that might well have been forgotten at some point. Now, food prep at the beginning of the year was probably a very, what might have seemed at the time, a very easy, simple habit that many of us probably did without much thought process. Was a foundation of our week, made life a lot easier, made me stay on point. Basically, that we knew what we were eating, simply saying it. Now, if nobody's noticed, stating the obvious, for the last few months, we've probably not really had to prepare much other than walking into the kitchen and seeing what's in the fridge, because really locale's not really changed much, has it, up until recently. So actually, food preparation, I am not getting used to it, Pooja, not at all. No. So actually, we haven't really had to do any food preparation because our food is already prepared. It is already in the fridge, or we've had more time to do it, so we're doing it in the moment, really. And that kind of seems to extend it to everything that's to do with food preparation from a skill set point of view. So I'm going to go through some of what I've observed. Firstly, so people understand that it's not actually them alone, because I've had it so often over the last week where things have changed. So, firstly, let's just nail down why it's changed. It's changed because some of us are actually going places. Who knew, right? Like me. Here. He's not here right now, which is good. Yeah, otherwise I'm with Mr. all day. This is standard of my life. So I've returned to normal life. And likewise, back to being able to plan the food ahead of time. Now, I'm not unusual to a majority of clients, as in some days you guys are going back to work and some days you're not, some weeks you're not, some weeks you're not, you're not, you're in, you're out. However, there is a change of routine again, which means that actually the skill, because it is genuinely a skill, the skill of food preparation seems to have been lagging behind a little bit. So actually we're starting to move out of normal, what has been normal for 6 months, into the workplace, or being more mobile and not actually planning ahead, because guess what, there's no fridge in here that I can go to. I don't think Danny will thank me for keep raiding theirs. Notice I say keep raiding like I haven't already. Our secret. However, being serious though, lots of things, like I briefly talked about in the introduction, however, lots of things are impacted with food preparation. So I'm going to dial it all the way down to what food preparation actually means. So food preparation is actually being aware of what you're buying to start with, right? And that means you're looking ahead of the week and saying, right, I know that I need for the rest of my week, if I'm on the road, or if I am at another office or at my office, that I need to have food ready for these days because I'm not at home now, right? So I need to know what exactly I need, and it needs to be on a shopping list, right? Online, going in store, whatever it is, right? That is actually the first very fundamental stage of food preparation. Lots of people don't either see as preparation or actually acknowledge is, right? Because it is, because guess what? You can't make your food without the food in your house to make it. So it is food preparation. Now, next level is, okay, you could say I know a couple of days, or I know a few weeks, etc. The next stage is actually working out exactly what meals you're going to have when, yes, or how many meals you're planning for, or how many days you're planning in. And all these basics have gone out the window. Why do I think that? We're out of practice, because we are. We've forgotten how long it takes. We perceive it takes a really long time to do this stuff, and it's a lot of work. Casting my back to January or February, nobody really cared, they just got it done, right? So perception of time, right, is really important, because they perceive it's going to take ages. Routine, right? So when we used to plan, how we used to plan, how we used to buy food even, or plan for people in our house, has also changed since prior to lockdown. So actually, that's why this is almost like a, you know, I say it's not actually bringing back a skill, it's probably creating a new one, where you acknowledge that you're planning for about 3 different routines in 1 week sometimes, based on where you're working and how long, right? So it's next level now. This is why it's not really happening at all, right? So again, the ideas of how to resolve this, different levels, right? So yeah, okay, you can do multiple days. You can do like, you know where you are for certain days, so you plan for those days. If you know you're working at home, it's okay, just have the food in the fridge to make it, if you're not going to make it ahead of time. Understand that it's either 1 meal you're prepping, or 2 or 3 or everything, or are you doing it in group? Are you doing it for more people? It's it is a forgotten skill. Hey Layla. Layla, food prep, my friend, all the way down to level of actually knowing when you're getting on the shopping list. It's not really happening for a lot of people. I wonder if it's happening for you. Now, again, resolutions, same as when you started, people. Start small is the best thing I'm doing when I'm talking to clients about it in a minute. Start small, like any habit. Start to work out where you can make the biggest impact by looking at your food ahead of time to get it ready. Now, I actually said it, but the most simplest habit that all of us probably forgot when we were starting out on our journeys, including myself, is that, and I said it, it's the actual shopping list, right? It's actually buying what's on the list and not deviating, and knowing that what you need on the list is to cover so many days in the week. It's such a simple thing to do, and yet it actually dictates your entire week. Mainly because people, I say why it does now, this is different from before. People don't want to shop 2 or 3 times a week, or they're only going to get 1 food delivery, so they want to get it right first time, right? Cost efficiency now, people are like, do you know what, I need to ensure that I'm covering cost and things, so I'm not going to multiple buy like all over the place. I'm going to do 1 shop, I'm going to make sure it's covering everything I need for the week, because I don't want to keep going to Tesco's or Asda, because still meh about food shopping, or I'm only getting 1 online booking for a delivery. So guess what, it needs some thinking and planning ahead. In terms of food preparation though, there's nothing more basic and more fundamentally huge and impacting. Sorting that out, then, it wasn't a soundbite, I just swore off. The main thing is that you get what you need ready to do it. Now, what you do after that, like in terms of actually making the food, people would perceive that as food prep, right? Preppy, boxy stuff. I've talked about this before. And whilst that's true, actually you can't make something you don't have, right? So fundamentally basics, buy what you need and knowing ahead of time what you need for the entire week. Take the guesswork out of it, take the easy access out of it, ensure what you have for the week, whether you're working now in the office or at home or on the road or in a different city. Zainab, if you're still watching, right? Because this is what's happening now, this is reality. As I said earlier, there's a jet lag, right? There's jet lag between what we're doing and what we used to do when it comes to food prep. Now, the other thing I want to say is, well, I might say more than one thing, it's me. However, I would say this, I found an interesting solution to this in the last few weeks, and if you're one of my clients, we may have made up to, I don't think it is today. However, there are things now that people are doing that they never did before when it comes to food preparation, right? And by that I mean thinking outside the box. Now, thinking outside the box means that if it is an entirely lost skill, there is another option that is usually not explored earlier in the journey, is still actually quite viable. And that's actually, and I say what some people find, or might have found a few years ago, a bit of a dirty word or a thing to say. However, the ready meal. Okay, wait, Layla, give me a shock face. She said ready meal. Now, true say. In honesty, are some ready meals out there that are probably created from hell? Yes. The standard of it though now, if you've not looked at these for some time, I invite you to have a look next time, because the standard of some of these has actually increased incredibly. I will not promote certain companies because some of them are quite good. However, if you go to any healthy range at most supermarkets now. Actually, you actually look at the ingredients, turn over. I invite you to turn over and look at it. They're not horrendous. And do they give a reasonable amount of calories per meal? Yeah. So we're talking about 300, roughly, around 300. Now, if you really have lost the skill and your perception of time is really out of whack at the minute, and actually this at the minute you are kind of all over the place and you're not sure where to go with it, I am not, as a coach, and certainly not against doing it, because it takes out the guesswork. So remove the guesswork and remove your challenges around time, and use that as a stopgap between that and what you might have been doing or working with, or preparing food back at the beginning of the year. Because the outcome is essentially you get a meal that you know the calorie content of, that has reasonably good actual calorie, very good calorie content. And actually, if you're selecting wisely and looking at it and looking at what is involved and exactly what's in it, you'll see that actually they're not horrendous in terms of ingredients either. And then the next level, if you want to go real next level, you can even get a prep company. I mean, that stuff is a bomb. Like, they deliver twice a week. Again, I'm not pushing any one company, because there are other options out there. And when I'm saying that, I mean the actual meals that are ready, not the ones you buy and cook yourself, because them something different. But in terms of some options, there are some out there that do lower calorie options, and that's where it's important that you check that. That again, remove all the guesswork and the hassle and everything else out of it, and make it an easier thing for you to do, because it still involves just going to the fridge and picking it up, right? Which is what we've done for about 6 months. So there are other alternatives out there, different ways of resolving the skill or the lack of skill of prep work at the minute. But again, fundamentals, people, I will recap, but please just make a shopping list that you stick to, that you know what you're actually the whole household's having. That's one that is not having that now anywhere. Well, not anywhere, that seems harsh. When I'm talking to a majority of clients, some of those are out of practice. So, recap, okay? So definitely there's a few skills that we probably need a refresher on. Certainly food preparation is one of those that is lacking, I think, in some of the conversations that I'm having as a coach at the minute, which is okay in consideration. I explained, we're just out of practice. We've not done it for 6 months. I'm holding my hand up on this one. I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this. Right? Absolutely need to be back in the game when it comes to food prep, because it actually deals with so much of your day, and actually can dictate your choices throughout the day if you don't have them there to make, right? It can be actually the reason why we're not doing it more is perception of time, how long it takes. I don't have time to do it anymore. We had time before, we had it somehow, right? Routine is different. Where we're working may be different, how we're working, the times of day we're working, even getting the kids to school is different. So all of things that when it comes to how we were fitting stuff like food prep in before have changed, right? So we're not quite, there's a what's the word? Basically, it's just not sitting like it used to. There's a flashy word, I can't think of it right now. However, it is essentially partly, like I said, a forgotten skill, and partly because there's a new skill involved, because it's a new routine and a new environment throughout the week. Again, start small, people. Please start small. Small is better, as we know, I've talked about a lot. Small is better, small improvements, small ways of looking at incorporating different ways of looking at food. And I said, sometimes you've got to remove the guesswork. Remove the guesswork, make it easy. Buy a meal that's done for you, right? It doesn't have to be 3 meals a day. However, if there's one meal that's really sticking that you can't get made and you're really struggling and you're finding yourself maybe eating something you weren't planning to, or eating outside of what you wanted to, know there's other options. If you are, of course, a member, chat to your coach about it. There are other options. Or if you're struggling with food prep in general, chat to your coach, let them know, get a plan in place, because so much on what you're trying to do or are doing in terms of moving towards your goal is based around food, right? A1, guys. Right. Oh, talking about time, we've got time on tomorrow. Value of time. Perception and value of time. Somebody's still got the same now, it's changed. That'll be interesting. Right. Bit of mosh. I feel like I could slowly change this room without him knowing. I mean, the lampshade is going to be fast, right? If you're listening to this, watch this. The lampshade has to go. I'm not so much to replace it with yet, but right, have a lovely evening, guys, and as always, I will catch you tomorrow.